Nina wiped her hands on her apron as she looked around the quiet kitchen. The soft hum of machines filled the room. Orion 5's colony kitchens were full of high-tech gadgets, robotic arms that chopped vegetables, ovens that cooked at precise temperatures, and shelves that automatically stocked themselves. Yet, Nina preferred doing things by hand. She liked the feeling of cutting vegetables herself and stirring sauces. It made her feel connected to her work and to the people she fed. The kitchen was empty now, except for her. Most of the colony slept while she stayed late, preparing meals for the next day. The lights above glowed softly, casting long shadows on the polished floors. As she chopped a bright orange carrot, she thought she heard a soft whisper. "Nina," she froze. Her knife hovered over the cutting board. It was faint, almost like the sound of the wind outside. "Hello," she called, glancing around. Nothing. Only the gentle whir of the kitchen machines answered her. Nina shook her head. Maybe she was just tired. Orion 5's nights were long, and she had worked through many of them. Still, the whisper sounded real. She set the carrot aside and walked slowly to the storage shelves. Her eyes scanned every corner. That's when she saw it, a small, glowing object tucked behind a stack of trays. It was about the size of her palm and shimmered with a soft, blue light. She bent down and picked it up. The moment her fingers touched it, a tiny vibration ran through her hand. The glow pulsed gently, almost like it was breathing. Nina's heart beat faster. She had never seen anything like this before. "What are you?" she whispered. The object hummed in response, faintly brightening. For a few seconds, it felt as if it was alive. Nina felt a mix of fear and excitement. She looked around the kitchen again. No one else was here. She tucked the object into her apron pocket, careful not to let the light escape. The next morning, Nina couldn't stop thinking about it. She tried to work normally, chopping vegetables and arranging trays, but her mind kept drifting back to the glowing object. When she had a quiet moment, she took it out and examined it. The blue glow seemed to respond to her thoughts, pulsing faster when she focused on it. She showed it to Leo, a maintenance worker who often helped in the kitchen after his regular shift. "Look at this," she said, holding it out. Leo leaned closer. "Where did you find it?" "Last night. Behind the storage shelves." She hesitated. It feels alive somehow." Leo frowned, turning the object in his hands. "It's strange. I've never seen anything like it. Could be alien tech, left here a long time ago. But be careful, Nina. The colony leaders won't like surprises like this." Nina nodded, but she couldn't hide her curiosity. Something about the object felt important. She spent the day thinking of ways to understand it. When the kitchen was quiet again that evening, she returned to her secret corner and set the object on a small table. She watched as it pulsed in the dim light. Slowly, the humming grew louder, and then she heard the whisper again. "Nina, follow." Her eyes widened. The object was trying to communicate. But how? It didn't speak words, only vibrations and soft pulses of light. Nina placed her hand on it again. The vibrations spread through her arm, almost like the object was showing her something only she could feel. "What do you want me to follow?" she asked softly. The glow changed, almost pointing toward the back of the kitchen. Heart pounding, Nina walked carefully toward the shelf where she had found it. The object's light reflected on the walls, creating tiny shadows that danced as she moved. Behind the shelves, she found a small panel in the wall, partially hidden. She hadn't noticed it before. When she touched it, the object pulsed strongly, and a soft click echoed. The panel slid open to reveal a tiny compartment filled with strange tools and devices. Nina gasped. She had uncovered something ancient and secret. She didn't know who had left it, or why, but she felt a sudden sense of responsibility. Whatever this was, it had chosen her. The whisper came again, softer this time, almost like a gentle nudge. Protect, learn. Nina looked down at the glowing object in her hand. It was small, fragile, but powerful in a way she could feel deep inside. She realized her life had changed in a single night. The ordinary kitchen, once quiet and safe, was now the beginning of an adventure she had never imagined. As she sat there with the object glowing softly in her palm, she made a silent promise: she would uncover its secrets, no matter what. And somewhere deep in the colony, something unseen was watching, waiting to see what Nina would do next. The next morning, Nina woke with the glowing object resting on her bedside table. Its soft light filled the small room with a calm blue glow. She stared at it for a long moment, feeling a strange mix of curiosity and nervousness. What was it trying to tell her? And why had it chosen her? She decided to bring it to the kitchen. Maybe, surrounded by familiar tools and smells, she could understand it better. As she entered the room, the robotic assistants moved automatically to start their morning routines. The object's light pulsed slightly faster as if it were happy to be in the kitchen again. Nina set it on a table and observed it carefully. She noticed that when she focused on a question in her mind, the light would brighten or dim, and a faint vibration would travel through her fingers. It seemed like the object could communicate, but in a language made of energy and motion rather than words. "Can you show me something?" she whispered, hoping it could respond. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the object's light flickered and projected tiny images into the air above it. They were not clear at first: shapes, symbols, and faint outlines of hallways in the colony. Nina leaned closer, her heart beating faster. These are parts of the colony," she said aloud. "What are you trying to show me?" The object pulsed again, and the images shifted. Now, she saw a series of small accidents: equipment failing, sparks flying, a robotic arm moving unpredictably. She gasped. The object wasn't just showing her pictures, it was warning her. Leo arrived a few moments later, carrying a tray of supplies. "You're still here?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. Nina pointed to the hovering images. "Look at this. The object, it's showing me problems before they happen." Leo leaned closer, his eyes wide. "That's incredible. It's like it knows the future." Nina nodded. "Or it knows things we cannot see. The whispers, they're guiding me." The images shifted again, now showing a dark shadow moving through one of the colony's storage halls. It was not a robot. It was something else. Something alive. The shadow passed silently, almost invisible, and left a trail that the object highlighted in blue light. Leo frowned. "Do you think someone or something is hiding in the colony?" "I don't know," Nina admitted. "But the object wants me to find out. It keeps pulsing when I think about protecting the colony." They spent the day quietly observing the object. Nina began to notice patterns. The light would pulse faster when danger was near or when an accident was about to happen. Sometimes, it would even hum softly when she made a decision that would help the colony. During lunch, she and Leo talked about what to do next. "We have to be careful," Leo said. "If the leadership finds out, they might take it away, and we'll lose the chance to understand it. Nina agreed. We need to learn from it, without drawing attention. It's trying to help us, but we have to figure out what it wants first. That night, the kitchen was quiet again. The colony slept, and the robotic assistants moved silently through their routines. Nina placed the object in the center of the table. She closed her eyes and concentrated, asking silently, "What are you trying to tell me?" The object's glow intensified. Suddenly, a clear image appeared, a hallway deep in the storage area, with a faint, almost invisible marking on the wall. The shadow moved past it, and the object pulsed rapidly. Nina understood, the markings were a message. Someone, or something, had left signs hidden in the colony. Leo joined her, watching the images with wide eyes. "We need to investigate," he said quietly. Nina nodded. "Tomorrow, we will. But we need a plan. If this is some kind of scout, we can't let it find out we know it's here." The object hummed softly, almost as if it approved. Its pulsing light dimmed slightly, letting Nina and Leo feel a strange sense of calm. It was not dangerous. It was guiding them. As they left the kitchen, Nina tucked the object safely into her apron pocket. She glanced back at the table. The ordinary room, full of stainless steel and machines, had become something extraordinary, a place where secrets could be discovered and dangers could be avoided before they happened. The whisper came one last time before they went to their quarters: "Learn, protect, trust." Nina shivered. She did not yet understand everything the object wanted, but she knew one thing for certain. The colony depended on her, on humans who could think, feel, and act. And for the first time, she truly understood that the kitchen was more than a place to cook. It was a place where humans could connect with something beyond themselves, something that might just save them all. And somewhere, in the unseen corners of Orion 5, the shadow waited, unaware that its presence had already been noticed. The next day, Nina and Leo waited until most of the colony was busy with their tasks. They wanted to explore the area the glowing object had indicated without being seen. The storage halls of Orion 5 were long and narrow, filled with crates, robotic arms, and stacks of supplies. Every corner seemed familiar, yet today, everything felt different. Nina held the glowing object in her hand. Its soft blue light pulsed as they walked. Each pulse seemed to guide her, showing which path to take. Leo followed closely, carrying a small toolkit and a flashlight, just in case. "Do you think it's really here?" Leo whispered. Nina shook her head. "I don't know what it is yet. But the object showed me these markings. We need to find them before it's too late." They moved carefully, keeping to the shadows. The storage hall was quiet, except for the soft hum of the robotic assistants doing their rounds. Nina's heart beat faster every time the object pulsed. It was as if it was sensing something alive moving among them. After a few minutes, Nina spotted it, a faint, almost invisible mark on the wall near a stack of crates. She bent down and ran her fingers over it. The symbol glowed slightly under her touch. "Here it is," she whispered. "The object led me to it." Leo knelt beside her. "What does it mean?" Nina studied it. The markings were not letters or numbers. They were shapes, lines and curves that seemed to connect like a map. She glanced at the object in her hand. Its pulsing had become steady, almost calm. "It's a message," she said. "Someone or something left these for someone to find. Maybe, to warn us." Suddenly, a shadow moved at the far end of the hall. It was fast and quiet, slipping between crates. Nina froze. The object in her hand pulsed sharply, sending vibrations up her arm. "There," she whispered. "Do you see it?" Leo nodded, holding his flashlight steady. The shadow disappeared as quickly as it appeared, leaving only a faint ripple in the dust on the floor. The object glowed brighter, pointing toward the next marking along the hall. Nina and Leo followed, moving carefully, their senses alert. Every pulse of light from the object seemed to guide them, as if it knew exactly where the shadow would go next. At the third marking, the object changed again. This time, it projected a faint image above the table, a small, alien figure, delicate and glowing, moving silently through the halls. Nina stared in wonder. "Leo, it's showing us what's been here," she said. "That shadow, it's not human. It's something else, something alive." Leo swallowed hard. "Do you think it's dangerous?" Nina shook her head slowly. "I don't know. But the object is helping us. I think it wants us to learn about it, not fight it, at least not yet." They continued moving through the storage hall, following the markings and the object's guidance. Each marking revealed more of the alien presence and its path through the colony. The object pulsed differently at each one, sometimes fast and urgent, sometimes slow and calm. Nina felt like she could almost understand it, like it was speaking to her without words. Finally, they reached a small room at the end of the hall. The door was slightly ajar, and a faint hum could be heard inside. Nina held the object close, and it pulsed brightly. The shadows inside moved quickly, like something was trying to hide. "Be careful," Leo whispered, stepping behind her. Nina took a deep breath and pushed the door open. The room was small, filled with old storage crates and broken equipment. In the corner, a soft glow reflected off a wall. Nina's eyes widened. There, almost hidden, was another object, similar to the one she held but smaller and dimmer. The object in her hand pulsed faster. The whispers were soft but clear: "Connect, learn." Nina realized that this was part of a larger network. The alien presence had left clues, and these objects were meant to guide someone who could understand them. She looked at Leo, excitement and determination in her eyes. "We need to bring this back," she said softly. "The colony doesn't know how important this is. These objects, they're alive in a way, and they're trying to help us." Leo nodded. "Then let's do it." Carefully. As they carefully moved the smaller object into Nina's bag, the shadow outside seemed to watch. But the two humans didn't see it. The glowing object in Nina's hand hummed softly, almost approvingly, as if saying their journey had only just begun. The kitchen, once an ordinary place of work, now felt like the center of something extraordinary. Nina understood one thing clearly: whatever the whispers were guiding them to, it had chosen them for a reason. Humans had the chance to understand, protect, and learn from it, and perhaps, in time, change the colony forever. Outside the hall, the shadow melted back into the darkness. It had been noticed, but not yet challenged. And in the quiet hum of the kitchen, the glowing object pulsed, ready to lead Nina and Leo to the next secret waiting to be discovered. The day began quietly, but Nina felt an uneasy tension in the air. The glowing object in her apron pulsed softly, almost like a heartbeat, reminding her that the colony was not entirely safe. She had shown Leo the smaller object they found in the storage hall, and together, they had started noticing patterns in its messages. "Look," Nina whispered as they walked through the kitchen, "the object pulsed just before the robotic arm in the storage room malfunctioned yesterday. It's warning us, Leo." Something is happening that no one else can see. Leo frowned. You mean, the shadow? Or something else? I don't know, Nina admitted. But whatever it is, it's careful. Quiet. And it's watching. They spent the morning observing the kitchen and nearby halls. For a while, everything seemed normal, but then, a loud clang echoed from the storage area. They rushed toward it and found a small crate tipped over. Nothing was missing, but a robotic arm lay on the floor, sparks flying from its joints. The glowing object in Nina's hand pulsed rapidly. It vibrated through her fingers, urgent and sharp. The whisper was soft but clear: danger, repair, protect. Nina took a deep breath and carefully reset the robotic arm. Leo helped her check the surrounding area for signs of tampering. They found faint scratches on the floor and small footprints too small to belong to any human. It's here, Leo whispered. It's moving through the colony. Nina nodded. The object knew this would happen. It's trying to guide us. They spent the afternoon investigating more halls. Each time the glowing object pulsed strongly, they found signs of disturbance: shifted crates, marks on walls, and sometimes small tools displaced. It became clear that the alien presence was not just observing, it was interacting with the environment in ways humans could barely notice. By evening, the object's pulses grew more urgent. Nina realized it was leading them toward the main power corridor, a place crucial to the colony's energy supply. If something went wrong there, the entire settlement could be in danger. Do you think it wants us to stop it? Leo asked, eyes wide. Nina shook her head slowly. No. It's warning us. It wants us to prevent accidents, not fight. The whispers, they are guiding our choices. Carefully, they entered the power corridor. The lights above flickered briefly, and a low hum resonated through the metal walls. The glowing object pulsed faster as they moved forward. Then they saw it, a shadow moving quickly along the far end of the corridor. It was faint, almost invisible, but the object's light illuminated its path in soft blue lines. Nina froze. There, it's trying to interfere with the system. Leo nodded. We have to stop it before it causes a bigger problem. They moved quickly but quietly. Following the object's guidance, they reached the control panel. The alien presence was trying to manipulate the settings, but Nina's fingers moved faster, guided by the vibrations and pulses from the glowing object. She corrected the changes just in time. The shadow paused, almost as if surprised. Then it retreated into the corner, disappearing from view. The lights stabilized, and the hum of the machines returned to normal. Breathing heavily, Nina looked at Leo. It came very close. The object warned us just in time. Leo nodded. We're lucky it showed us the way. But, what is it? Why is it here? Nina held the glowing object tightly. Its light pulsed gently now, almost as if it were satisfied. I think it wants to test us. See if we can protect ourselves and the colony. If we can, maybe it will show us more. There's more to learn. I can feel it. For the rest of the evening, they monitored the area, the glowing object guiding their steps. Each time a disturbance appeared, it pulsed, and each time, Nina and Leo were able to correct it. Slowly, they realized something incredible: humans could anticipate danger before it happened, if they learned to pay attention, observe, and act wisely. The whispers returned as they left the power corridor, soft and calming: observe, act, protect, learn. Nina smiled. It's teaching us, Leo. The colony has dangers we cannot always see, but we can prepare for them. We just have to listen. Leo nodded, feeling a sense of awe. I never imagined a kitchen could lead to something like this. Nina glanced around at the polished counters, robotic arms, and rows of shelves. The ordinary kitchen, once just a place to cook, had become a center of knowledge and protection. The glowing object pulsed softly in her hand, a reminder that humans could rise to challenges in ways no one had expected. Somewhere, in the unseen corners of Orion 5, the shadow waited, watching them. But Nina and Leo were ready. The whispers had guided them through danger, and they would continue to follow them, learning and protecting, step by step. The next morning, Nina stood in the kitchen, staring at the glowing object in her hand. It pulsed softly, like a heartbeat, and she could feel its energy guiding her thoughts. She had an idea. If the object could detect danger in the colony, maybe it could work with the kitchen's machines to create a system that would protect everyone. Leo, she called. I think the kitchen itself can help us. Leo looked up from repairing a robotic arm. The kitchen? You mean, like, using the machines? Nina nodded. Yes. The robots, the sensors, even the ovens and lights, they all connect to the colony's system. The object can guide us to use them as a warning network. Leo raised an eyebrow. That sounds complicated. It is, Nina admitted. But if it works, we can prevent accidents before they happen. The object is already helping us detect the shadow. If we connect it with the kitchen, we'll have more control. They spent the morning testing ideas. Nina placed the glowing object near the central kitchen sensor. The light pulsed, sending vibrations through her fingers. The machines responded, their robotic arms pausing, ovens adjusting temperatures, and lights flickering gently. It's working, she whispered. The object is communicating with the machines. Leo smiled. Then let's expand it. If we connect all the sensors and cameras to the object, we can create a protective network. For hours, they worked together, connecting machines, adjusting sensors, and programming alerts. The glowing object pulsed differently with each connection, almost like it was approving their actions. By evening, the kitchen had transformed. It was no longer just a place for cooking. It had become a hub, a central system that could monitor the colony and warn them of danger. Now we need to test it, Nina said, her voice quiet but determined. Just then, a faint shadow moved across the corridor outside the kitchen. The object pulsed urgently in Nina's hand. Lights flickered and the robotic arms paused mid-motion. Sensors in the kitchen traced the shadow's path and sent an alert to Nina. There, she whispered. It's trying to enter the kitchen. Leo grabbed a small flashlight and followed Nina as she moved toward the corridor. The shadow paused as they approached, then quickly retreated when the kitchen lights activated, creating a barrier of brightness and motion sensors. The glowing object hummed softly, as if proud. It's working, Nina said, smiling. The kitchen is protecting us, just like the object guided us to do. Leo nodded. I can't believe it. All this, from a small glowing device. As night fell, they continued to monitor the system. The kitchen's machines and sensors worked in harmony with the object. Each time the shadow appeared, it was detected and alarms or lights were triggered, preventing it from causing any damage. The whispers from the object were soft but clear: observe, protect, learn, guide. Nina realized that humans were capable of more than they knew. With intelligence, creativity, and the right tools, they could anticipate danger, protect themselves, and even help others without direct confrontation. The kitchen, ordinary to anyone else, had become a symbol of human ingenuity. It was a place where technology and thought came together. A place where humans could learn, adapt, and thrive even in the presence of an unseen threat. Nina looked around the kitchen, the robotic arms still pausing occasionally, lights softly flickering, sensors scanning. "This is only the beginning," she said softly to Leo. "The object is teaching us, but it also wants us to think for ourselves. We have to stay alert, and we have to be ready for whatever comes next." Leo nodded. "Then we watch, we learn, and we protect. Together." Nina smiled, holding the glowing object close. For the first time, she felt the weight of responsibility but also the power of possibility. The object had chosen her for a reason. Humans could rise to challenges, and with guidance and wisdom, they could turn ordinary places into extraordinary centers of safety and knowledge. As they left the kitchen to rest, the object pulsed softly one last time, whispering in its quiet, mysterious way, "Human strength, human courage, human heart," and somewhere in the colony, the shadow lingered, aware that the humans had become stronger, cleverer, and ready. The game had changed, and the heart of the kitchen was now the heart of the colony's defense. The next morning, Nina entered the kitchen with a renewed sense of purpose. The glowing object pulsed softly in her hand, almost like it had been waiting for her. Over the past days, she and Leo had learned to anticipate the shadow's movements and protect the colony. But now, the whispers from the object felt different, calmer, almost like an invitation to understand, not just to react. "Leo," she said quietly, "I think the object wants us to communicate, not just defend." Leo looked puzzled. "Communicate? With what?" Nina held the object up. Its blue glow shifted and pulsed faster, as if responding to her words. "With the presence itself. The shadow. It's intelligent. It's not here to destroy us, it wants to see if we can understand and respond wisely." They spent the day observing the patterns. The object projected faint images when they concentrated on questions, the shadow moving through corridors, the markings in the walls, and small flashes of light that seemed to indicate thought or emotion. Slowly, Nina realized the object was translating these signals into something humans could sense. By evening, they decided to test a new idea. Nina set the glowing object in the center of the kitchen, connecting it to the sensors and machines. Then, she spoke softly, thinking clearly in her mind, "We see you. We understand you are here. We want to learn." The object pulsed brightly and projected a clear image above the table, the shadow, now visible in a soft, translucent form, revealing a small, delicate alien shape. It shimmered, almost like liquid light, and seemed to study the kitchen and its humans carefully. Leo gasped. "It's beautiful." Nina nodded, holding the object closer. "It's not hostile. It's observing, testing us." The alien form moved closer to the center of the kitchen, following the pulses of the glowing object. Then, it projected images of its world, a distant planet filled with soft lights, flowing energy, and structures that seemed alive. The whispers from the object became stronger, forming words in Nina's mind: intelligence, caution, compassion, cooperation. Nina understood. The alien presence had been evaluating humans, not for war, but to see if they were capable of learning, adapting, and showing care. Humanity's strength, it seemed, lay not just in skill or technology, but in thoughtfulness and teamwork. "We need to show it we are capable," Nina said to Leo. We need to prove humans can cooperate, understand, and protect. Together, they demonstrated the kitchen system. They showed how the glowing object guided their actions, how the sensors and machines could prevent accidents, and how humans could anticipate and solve problems. The alien form observed carefully, its light pulsing gently in approval. Then, the object projected a new message: potential, worthy, teach, share. Nina realized that the alien presence wanted to share knowledge. If humans proved capable, it would allow them access to new technology and understanding. But it would also test their character, seeing if they could use it wisely. Leo looked at her. So, it's offering help, but only if we are ready to learn and act responsibly. Nina nodded slowly. Yes. And we are ready. We have to keep listening, observing, and making choices that protect others. That's what it wants to see. Over the next hours, Nina and Leo continued their interactions. They experimented with new ways to use the glowing object, guiding energy through the kitchen systems and testing its responsiveness. Each time, the alien presence pulsed in acknowledgement, showing that it understood their intentions. The whispers finally became words in Nina's mind: humans can rise. Humans can guide. Humans can learn. Humans can protect. Nina smiled, holding the glowing object close. She had never felt such a connection before with the object, with the alien presence, and with the colony she had sworn to protect. Humans had shown intelligence, compassion, and courage. Leo grinned. We passed the test, or at least, we're on the right path. Nina nodded. Yes. But it's just the beginning. If we continue to listen, to learn, and to act wisely, humans can achieve more than anyone imagined. We can protect ourselves, our home, and maybe even work alongside other beings in the galaxy. As the night settled over Orion 5, the kitchen glowed softly. The alien presence hovered nearby, observing, but no longer threatening. Instead, it seemed to approve, sharing knowledge silently through the glowing object. And in that moment, Nina understood something truly remarkable: humanity's strength was not only in technology or skill, but in the heart and mind. Humans could rise, not through force, but through thought, understanding, and compassion. The whispers faded, leaving only a soft pulse in the glowing object, like a gentle heartbeat: learn, protect, rise. Together, Nina held it close, knowing that the journey was not over, but that humans had proven themselves capable of greatness. The morning sun of Orion 5 cast a soft glow over the colony. Nina entered the kitchen, holding the glowing object close. Over the past days, she and Leo had learned more than they ever imagined possible. The alien presence had guided them, tested them, and taught them that humans could think, adapt, and protect not just themselves, but others. Today felt different. The glowing object pulsed steadily in her hand, like a calm heartbeat. It was no longer urgent or sharp. Instead, it seemed peaceful, as if ready to share something new. Leo, Nina said quietly, I think it's time. The presence wants to give us its gift. Leo raised an eyebrow. Gift? What kind of gift? I don't know yet, Nina admitted. But it feels important. They carefully followed the glowing object's guidance. It led them through the kitchen, past the sensors and robotic arms, and toward the storage hall where they had first discovered the smaller object. As they walked, the pulses grew brighter, signaling the final message of approval. At the far end of the hall, a small compartment opened slowly. Inside, a collection of devices glimmered softly. They were unlike anything the colony had seen, machines that seemed alive, reacting to thought and energy rather than buttons or commands. The glowing object pulsed brightly, pointing toward the devices. Nina gasped. This is incredible." Leo stepped closer, examining the machines. "These aren't just tools. They're enhancements. They can work with our systems, with the kitchen, the sensors, the robots. If used wisely, they could improve everything in the colony." The glowing object hummed softly, and the whispers came in Nina's mind: "Use knowledge, with wisdom, protect life." Together, Nina nodded, understanding the message clearly. The alien presence had not only tested humanity but was now trusting them with its technology. It was a sign of respect and hope. Humans had proven themselves capable of thought, care, and teamwork. For the rest of the day, Nina and Leo worked carefully to integrate the new devices into the kitchen and colony systems. The glowing object guided them, showing how each machine could interact safely with the colony's technology. Lights, sensors, and robotic arms worked together in harmony, creating a network that could prevent accidents, respond to emergencies, and help humans perform tasks more efficiently. As the evening fell, the colony gathered in the communal area. People noticed the lights were softer, machines worked more smoothly, and the kitchen operated more efficiently than ever. Nina explained how the glowing object and the new devices had helped create a safer, smarter system. The whispers came one last time, soft and proud: "Humans can rise. Humans can learn. Humans can protect. Humans can guide. Humans can thrive." The colony members cheered quietly, amazed at the transformation. The kitchen, once a simple place for preparing meals, had become a center of innovation, cooperation, and protection. It symbolized the human ability to adapt, think creatively, and rise to challenges. Nina looked at Leo, smiling. "We did it. Not just for ourselves, but for everyone here." Leo nodded, his eyes shining. "And we couldn't have done it without the guidance of the object, and the presence that trusted us." The glowing object pulsed gently one last time, then dimmed slightly, as if resting. The small alien presence appeared faintly, hovering near the center of the kitchen. It shimmered in approval, then slowly drifted toward the ceiling. Before disappearing entirely, it left a soft ripple of light throughout the room, a gift and a reminder of what humans could achieve. Nina held the glowing object close, feeling the pulse of life and knowledge within it. She realized that the adventure had changed her and the colony forever. Humans were capable of more than survival. They could innovate, protect, and thrive using their intelligence, creativity, and compassion. The shadow that had once caused worry and tension was gone, replaced by understanding and cooperation. The glowing object, now a permanent part of the kitchen, reminded everyone of the bond between thought and action, guidance and trust. As night settled over Orion 5, the kitchen glowed softly, a beacon of human ingenuity and courage. The colony had learned a vital lesson: humans could rise to challenges not through force, but through understanding, teamwork, and the careful use of knowledge. Nina smiled, placing the glowing object in its central spot. The heart of the kitchen had become the heart of the colony, proof that humans could face the unknown, adapt, and create a better future together. And somewhere in the galaxy, the alien presence watched, knowing that humans had proven themselves worthy. The whispers faded completely, leaving only a soft pulse in the heart of the kitchen, a lasting reminder: humanity thrives when it learns, protects, and rises together.